I actually don't judge me, okay?
Okay.
I happened to come across an a scene from an adult video
Hmm.
where one of my songs was playing in the background.
Oh, that must have been quite a shock.
Yeah, yeah, it, it's and I wonder like how any of this works because with these you you have these streaming services basically for adult content and there's music playing in the background. I wonder if there's a potential revenue stream here somewhere because
Oh, yeah, I think so.
yeah, I
Well, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, in any movie that
Mm,
uses music, they they pay for the right to do
yes,
that. So I would
yes,
be contacting that pornographer
yeah,
and asking for your not only that, but getting a credit on the end of the film. Thank you
yeah.
very much.
Come on, listen. But like technically, it wasn't in the forefront of the. There was other sounds going on in the forefront. This was like
I just picture you. I mean, I won't even describe what I'm saying, what you're doing while you're watching this video, but I can imagine everything would have stopped when you suddenly heard your.
yeah, it was like hold on, you know. While I was doing research
Oh, okay.
for like
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like I was
You're researching, yeah.
yeah, I was like looking for Bible verses or something, and then somehow it got all turned around,
Oh,
and
it's
then this came up, yeah, something like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and yeah, I don't know, yeah, I should look into this. I should look into this. But what I was going to say was it wasn't like in the movies where it is like in like usually when songs are used in a movie, it's like a part of the soundtrack and
Yeah.
and oftentimes the people the characters on the screen aren't aware that there's music playing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, because it's a soundtrack over the top for drama.
Yes.
The
Yes.
violins surging
Yes.
and yeah, it's not
But
actually happening.
this would be the equivalent of she's listening to the radio.
Yeah,
So
in
this
in
was
that.
different. So she in this scenario she could hear the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So
Okay, so were they having sex like
it
in
was only one
time?
person. It was only one
Oh, that
person.
was a solo
Yeah,
act. Okay.
yeah. It was it was only one
Okay.
person.
All right.
You
I
know.
did one time go to the movies many years ago, and there's a scene, and again in some interior, and there's one of my paintings on the wall in this movie. Like it's quite a famous Australian film, and I
Uh,
almost screamed, "That's my painting!"
yeah,
in the middle of the cinema, and I had forgotten that some years ago, 2 or 3 years earlier, my gallery had asked me if they could rent this for this
mm.
scene in a movie, which I'd completely forgotten about. So that was interesting, but a
So
bit different.
okay, so they have permission. So this for you, there's no um other than maybe the compensation for the rental or something.
Yeah, it was just a small rental fee, but
Yeah, yeah,
it takes 2 years or something for a film to get filmed, and then it
right.
finally gets released. And I didn't even
Yeah,
know the title of the film; it was all done through my gallery.
yeah, yeah.
So it was a surprise to see it there.
Mm. It's interesting because you know when with YouTube and all of this stuff, if you use a little part of someone else's work, sometimes they can take the whole, revenue from the video just because you used um some snippet of their like footage or something like that in your video. So um I think it's one of those things where I guess some people want to some people want to, get something out of it, and some people are like, don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's
Yeah. It's
cool,
just,
I guess. For instance, right? For instance, technically, let's say you had a YouTube channel, right? And then you put a clip of the movie saying, "My here's my painting in the background of this scene in the movie," right?
mhm. Yeah. I
Do you
wouldn't be able
think
to
that
do that.
you see what I'm
I would.
saying?
I would get into trouble? Would I? I guess I
Yeah.
would. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
this is, you know what I'm saying? This is the problem with this kind of thing.
Yeah, but who really cares? I don't know. Yeah, I guess some people do. But I mean, this whole thing of what's it called? Not ChatGPT. Well, any of those AI things like Midjourney,
Mm-hmm.
where you're making images.
Mm-hmm.
They're making that image from thousands of pieces of information of images that they've scraped and kind of molded together to create this new image.
Right.
But none of it is fresh material. It's all been taken from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Tiny percentages of information, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
have been taken. But there's a lot of people that are up in arms about that in terms of the copyright infringements,
Right.
which just aren't being talked about. Or I mean, they're being talked about, but it's not being addressed. Nobody's being
Right.
paid.
Right.
Artists are being ripped off.
Yeah.
Photographers are being ripped.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I guess this is always like a touchy. I don't know how we're ever going to be able to resolve this kind of thing, also, because really, when you think about music, music is almost always derivative.
Mm-hmm.
There's very, very few people that are like creating this completely brand new, you know,
Yeah.
who owns a disco beat? Who owns
Mm-hmm.
Four on the Floor? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Who owns a C minor chord? It's like or a chord progression.
Yeah.
There's so many songs that have the same chord progression, and yeah, it's really, really interesting. And obviously, I'm coming from a hip hop background where so much of it in the early days was dependent on samples of
Mm-hmm.
other, you know, and you know, hip hop artists weren't always paying people as well, and house artists, electronic artists weren't always paying people as well. So, yeah,
Well, they say imitation. What is the line? Imitation is a is the highest form of flattery.
yeah,
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I agree. I don't know why we care, to be honest. Like, if it felt whatever it was that you made was a concoction of all sorts of things, all influences your own psychology, your own
mm-hmm,
mood that you're in, your emotional
mm-hmm,
states. It's such a melting pot already.
mm-hmm,
To try and decipher all of those influences, whether they be those of another artist or what you had for breakfast or what
mm-hmm,
argument you had with your husband. I don't think we can ever disentangle all of those things to say
mm-hmm,
this is mine and that is not mine.
mm-hmm,
Um, I think, yeah, the whole question of is something original?
mm-hmm,
Does it matter? Is that such an amazing thing in the first place? And
mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those ideas that's possibly a bit flawed, because I
Well, it
think, like you said,
depends.
there is everyone is influenced by something.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the question becomes, I mean, because there's one way to see it when you're creating something that is derivative, and then you might have a different feeling when something is derivative of your creation.
Yeah, you do. You feel a little bit, possessive. That's my
Hmm.
baby. I made
Hmm.
it.
Yeah. And
But
how would you feel? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, no, you go.
You were
How would I feel?
mid-sentence. Mm.
I,
Well,
I,
I
I
was
didn't. Yeah, don't worry. I can't remember.
okay. I was going to say, if, let's say, someone had made something that was maybe a caricature of one of your paintings,
Mm.
where you
Um,
could clearly see.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's happened. It's happened a number of times. I mean,
Mm,
not a caricature, but it's always um, it's just weird. It looks kind of like something of mine, but then
mhm,
it's not quite right because
mhm,
it's not mine.
mhm,
Um, it's always a bit jarring. It's a
mhm,
strange. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't. I never find it. It doesn't feel particularly flattering. It feels like,
mhm,
ugh. It's a bit creepy.
mhm. Okay,
Actually,
okay.
feels a bit
So,
creepy.
if how would you? What do you think if someone was actually reproduce the painting of yours?
Really
Like
piece by piece.
intentionally said, I'm going to reproduce this painting.
I don't know. I don't know. Um, I would wonder why. Why would you do that? Um, I don't know. I don't think I'd like it particularly. No,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's just an ego thing, I guess.
What is it?
I
Is
think
it an
so.
ego thing?
I think so. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
so then if you don't see, this is why I think it's an interesting topic, because um this is kind of you when you start thinking about intellectual property, and there's one thing, because I when I was saying, like, your art belongs to the world. Once you create it, it belongs to the world. That's in a metaphorical sense, right?
yeah,
But if someone were to recreate your work especially with intention, someone said, okay, to circumvent, yeah, for instance, to circumvent um, having to acknowledge uh, this artist, or pay them any money, we're going to hire someone to um, just recreate her painting, and then we use the recreation as our artwork
mm.
for
Well,
our
that's just
album.
disrespectful. I think
Yeah, yeah,
really.
yeah,
That too has happened to me.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Not
Because
not
I
exactly,
mean,
but yeah.
not exactly, but
It was a fashion designer who asked if she could use a sort of motif from one of my paintings, or actually
hmm,
use the painting and turn it into a fabric somehow.
hmm,
And I asked her. I wanted to know what the technology was.
hmm,
I wanted to know what it would look like. I was just asking lots of questions, and then she got sort
hmm,
of defensive and said, "Oh, why are you so precious?" And then I just
hmm,
thought, "Oh, you know what? I don't want to do this."
yeah,
So I
wow,
just said no. And then a year later, I walk past her shop and I look in the window, and there is this dress,
mm,
and she's changed it. She's made it red instead of green, but she
yeah,
just basically went and ripped it off and
wow,
made her own version.
yeah,
And I kind of felt a bit grumpy for a minute, but I really couldn't
yeah,
be bothered doing
yeah.
anything about it.
Yeah, see, this is where I don't know. I'm conflicted, because in a way, other people and other entities wouldn't let these kinds of things fly. You know what I mean?
No, no, they wouldn't.
And it's kind of, I think this is kind of the tragedy of being an artist, is a lot of times artists don't think with business minds.
No.
And because of this, I feel like everyone in the music business always makes out better than the people making the art or making the
Music.
music.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. There's a
This,
lot of exploitation that goes on.
well, I see. Then I don't know if you can call it exploitation,
Why
because
not?
then if you're willingly knowing, if someone says, "Hey, you know, you have to question, is it your responsibility to understand the business and um to do the things that um to understand how your work is utilized or whatever, right? um for instance, in a lot of ways, like a gallery owner um maybe makes a different kind of investment than an artist does, because the artist maybe, is not necessarily paying rent for, or you, maybe you can tell me, maybe I have it wrong. They're not paying rent and electricity and heating for a space to, you know what I mean, to debut the art. And then they have this space, and let's say they show an artist, and the artist sells no paintings. Their stuff's been up for a month, and
Hmm.
then they sell no paintings.
Yeah, it
You
happens.
know, yeah. So there's a risk involved for them as well. So in that sense, I kind of understand their side of it. But what do you mean by exploitation? Maybe this is what I don't have. Maybe
I mean, cases like like you might happen in the music industry where
Mhm,
somebody's getting paid almost nothing for their work, being taken advantage of because of
mhm,
their lack of business acumen or their,
mhm,
so that's the sort of exploitation I'm talking about.
mhm,
Um, in the art world, yeah, it hasn't really happened to me apart from those little things that I've mentioned, which I think exploitation is a bit of a big word.
mhm,
I wouldn't call it that. It's just being, ripped off a
mhm,
little bit. But
mhm,
I mean, galleries have to operate in, they have to keep the doors open. Like you said, they have to pay electricity and they have to pay staff and
mhm,
advertising, and they do a lot of work. They do a lot of work that I want no part of, because if
mhm.
I was to spend my time doing all that shit, I'd get no work done in the studio.
Yeah.
So I value their role, and I don't mind paying the commission as long
Mhm.
as they sell enough for me.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, that's all.
I was gonna say this is. I almost think that it maybe should be mandatory that business be taught in art schools and music schools. Um, so that people can have an understanding, because I think that what often happens is especially at the beginning of your career, you do things that you wouldn't do if you had even a smidgen of understanding. You know what I mean? Um, I didn't know what in perpetuity meant. Uh, but I mean, I would never sign anything that said that on it. Just that word, if it appears, no. You know what I mean? That's an automatic no for me.
Mhm.
But if you it's so often that a lot of times people do their best work at the very beginning, because this is when all the hunger is there, and the passion and the
Mm,
talent is at its often at its peak, that someone can really pull the best out of you, and you have taken the worst deal in
mm,
return.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think
Yeah,
that even though it's um unpleasant to have to think about this business aspect of it, it
yep.
is kind of necessary. because at the end of the day, if you want to have a career in it, you have to have some sort of understanding of the economy of it all.
Mm. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know about music school, but we certainly we do talk about professional practice and some business side of things
Mm-hmm.
where I work as a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the thing is, with art, you cannot expect for many years to make anything close to a profit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you have to work your way up. Because if you were to count up all the hours that you spend on one artwork, for example, I mean, some people can work really quickly and it comes out really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I can labour on things for sometimes up to a year. Some large paintings, maybe not a year, but certainly 9 months, I might chip away at something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if I were to add up all those hours, just yeah, I wouldn't get paid. I wouldn't get paid that amount. I mean,
Right.
not in my not in the early stages of my career at any rate.
But
Um,
do you think that's because of well, what why do you think that is?
um, it just seems to be the way it works. You start as a young artist, and you can't ask too much money because you haven't
Mm-hmm.
got a reputation yet. It's something to
Mm-hmm.
do with reputation and other people's assessing your work as being somehow worthy. Um, it's a false, weird economy. I mean, sometimes people, shoot to stardom for whatever reasons, and they make a lot of money very quickly from the get go. But
Mm-hmm.
those are rare stories.
Mm-hmm.
Probably similar in the music industry, I imagine. You sort of have to work your way up.
Well, I don't know. I don't know because there's if I think if you have an understanding of how things go, you can reduce a lot of costs. Um, Obviously, if you were to have an understanding of marketing,
Hmm.
for even put that aside, there is someone that's an actor, right? And then just because they're an actor, they can sell their paintings.
Hmm. Yeah, that shits me up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Or
yep.
in the converse, you have a musician, and because they did
Mm,
well as a musician, they can bypass all other artists who've been training, you know what I mean,
yep,
and get a role in a movie or a
yep,
TV
yep, yep,
show, you know? And
yep.
oftentimes they don't even have to be good at, have to be
No.
good at it, but they can sell on their name alone. So I think there is some aspect of it where you can, like what you described, I would call that gatekeeping, right?
Mhm,
And I think I don't know how it works in the visual field, but a lot of this gatekeeping has been eliminated um, in the music industry
okay. How so?
because before you needed a record label, right? Let's say you
Mhm,
needed a record label and you needed your music to be on the radio in order to
yep,
start making money, right? And you needed the record label because they knew how to get music on the radio. They had the connections, they had the network, they had the leverage. They could leverage their other artists against you. You know what I mean? I mean, leverage their other artists in your favor. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't play
mhm,
his music, then we don't give you, Michael Jackson's music. You know what I mean? And
mhm,
you had to know DJs to get it into the clubs, and
mhm,
so sometimes you had trouble being able to get into a promo agency that would get the music to the DJs, right?
mhm,
Um, uh, you don't know you don't know anything about marketing, so you need a marketing team. You know what I mean? And you need someone to negotiate for you contracts, and so you don't need you need the lawyer outside of the record label, but all of these other things that the record label used to do,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need this anymore because you don't need your songs to be on the radio for them to be a hit. You know what I mean? Um, and you saw this with like NWA, like their music wasn't on the radio, and you know, you hear about like these independents starting to sell their music out of the trunks. And
Mm-hmm.
so the last, I would say one of the last barriers to the last gate that's being kept is distribution
Mm-hmm.
in the music business. But now you don't need a marketing team. You don't need to, you can shoot your own videos. The technology is there. You don't need expensive cameras. You don't, you know what I mean? There's so much that you can do
Yeah. Yeah.
that,
But how do
that
you get it seen by many people, though? I mean, you can put it on Spotify or put your video on YouTube, but how do you get the audience without the gatekeeper?
that this is marketing, and then you can learn how to market. Like obviously you have to identify your audience or make yourself a, you know, these are things that you can learn to do because that's what,
Yeah.
that's the nature of YouTube and the nature of Spotify. All people are finding different ways to, what do they call them, marketing funnels. They know
Yeah.
how to push people towards you know, push people towards where you want them to go to experience whatever you're trying to get them to experience, right?
Yeah.
So, and now we have essentially all these free tools. It doesn't really cost you anything to put something on YouTube. So you
Mm-hmm.
have this potential reach to billions of people, millions on Instagram. You
Yeah.
know, all this is free. You know what I mean? For the most part, it's free. And you, and most of the time you can utilize tools that you already have, like your phone. You know what I mean? So in that sense, a lot of gatekeeping
Mm-hmm.
has been eliminated. And so you know, I spoke to this one woman who was like a ballerina, and she was telling me about basically the casting couch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the reasons she left this field, and then she seems to be doing very, very well as a model now. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
she used her ballerina body as a model for photographers and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that. So then you can do these branding deals and all of this different kind of things. There's that you can come up with to create other streams of income, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in that sense, it's much, much easier to make something happen than it was before.
Yeah.
Also, you didn't, you know, now computers are powerful enough that you can make your music just on your laptop or something.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And so there's so much that you can do if you know how to do it. And if
Yeah.
you have a, I mean, obviously you need a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's a lot easier, I think, for many people. Also, in the visual arts,
mhm,
you can you know, Instagram's been an amazing thing for many people, but that whole business side of things, to do it really well, requires a lot of time, and it's a lot of time that gets taken away from the creative process. And actually, not only does it take time away from the creative process, it kind of messes with your thinking
mhm,
around the, the 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 stuff that you're making, because you're also got in mind this kind of commercial business kind of stuff, which invariably um, influences your creativity in
mhm,
usually a negative way.
right,
You're thinking about the audience, you're thinking about what will sell, you're thinking about how to sell it, you're thinking about who's going to want to buy it, and that that aren't necessarily compatible with each other, I don't think, which is again why I like having a gallery to do that stuff
right,
for me and pay a
yes,
commission.
Yes. So that's fine. So my mom and I have this expression, everything that you don't know will cost you, right?
Yep. That's true. Yep.
Right. So yeah, so you can choose
Yeah.
to pay these commissions or whatever, and but you at least, because I assume you don't consider paying the commission being exploited,
No, I don't. I mean, I would like it not to go up anymore. Thank you very
mm-hmm,
much, because
mm-hmm.
it does seem to go up every few years. But yeah. I mean, yeah. Not yet. I wouldn't call it
Yes,
exploitation, but yeah.
yes. But to keep it at a level where you're just being part of the ecosystem and the economy, um you still have to have a basic knowledge um of how to value and interpret deals that are being offered to you,
Sure. Yes, you do. Yeah. I mean,
right?
if I don't understand something, I will ask, do you think this is a good idea? It sounds
Yeah.
a bit weird to me. Explain it to, I'll ask. I'll get the information somehow. But I mean, yeah, I think you're right. It does help to have some of this knowledge for sure, but you just don't want it to be preoccupying you to the point where you're no longer actually in the studio making work.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is, I guess in a little bit of a way, I'm playing like devil's advocate because
Mhm.
I, yes, because I've experienced this actually, definitely experienced how this influences the creative process, and I think it's part of what has led to my writer's block that I've been experiencing.
Mm,
The thing is, then we have to consider the person that has the passion for the business side of things, that can really know how to make money and make things happen, and then they end up being much more the perception is now they've exploited people, because now they've done something. They're not necessarily creating the art, but
mm,
if they know how to work it and they know how to make deals, and they can do this for you being the one artist counting on yourself to make the money, but in the meantime they're working with 50 artists that potentially are bringing in,
yeah. Yeah.
so have they become, are they exploiting people now?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, that's just the way it's kind of done. I
Yeah.
mean, they can't give you all their attention all the time because, like you said, they've probably got 50 or however many other artists that they're working with. But
Mm-hmm.
you would hope that when they're working on a project with you, they're giving it a good amount of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. To me, it's another world. I mean, I'm a bit naive about it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It is not my strong suit, and like
Mm-hmm.
many artists, I think many artists are the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I hand it over. I hand it over, and I trust that people are doing right by me. And that may be naive, but so far it's been okay. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, it
Um,
depends. Yeah, it also depends on what you consider to be okay. Also,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
and
So
how
I
ambitious
mean,
you are.
yeah, because I mean, let's say, um, I remember, I remember, I made a, I made a song, and the record label was in a different country, right?
Hmm.
And I remember coming from my house, and then I ended up going to this country to uh see these guys
Hmm.
and visit their office and everything. And I'm looking in their office, and they have like this. Now this is an independent record label for electronic music.
Hmm.
These guys have like and I think I went to visit them twice. Um they had this like bi-level office, two
Mm.
floors, um, and they were driving like matching BMWs, right? And I think I went back and then they were like driving these matching Audis.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the kind of person to. I don't really get jealous or anything like that. I don't feel like they. I don't necessarily like anything that didn't go the way that I think it should have gone. I say is what I didn't know cost me, right?
Hmm. Yep.
You know, the issue is that if artists don't put some effort into the business aspect of it, things will often not change because not everyone needs to be because what not everyone needs to have like this massive success in order to
Mm.
have a comfortable living as an artist. If you have enough knowledge to, you know what I'm saying, like to
Yeah. Yeah.
put
I think.
puts
I think you're right. If you want to do well, be successful financially, and achieve success in those sort of ambitious renown, all of those things, you do have to put that kind of work in as well.
mm, mm,
And maybe I'm not ambitious enough, or maybe I'm
mm,
not. But yeah, I think I could work a lot harder on that side of things and probably
mm.
do a lot better than I'm doing.
Yeah,
And I'm just not sure I care enough, is the truth. And I, yeah, I should take that home and think about it, actually, because I think it's a good point. I think I probably should work harder at certain other aspects of my business practice.
mm.
Oh, but I don't know if I want to, Hollis. I don't know if I want to. I just want to
But
make
you
art, have
the
conversations with people.
yeah, that I mean, of course, that's fine. That's fine. The thing is though, if I didn't hear from, I'm not saying you. If I
Mhm.
didn't hear these things from so many artists who have now become bitter,
Mm.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
or from the person that like has to work some other job
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
they continue to do their art. Like I feel like this is a solvable problem. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, and
Yeah.
I mean, I understand in the sense that like maybe you work a job where you don't have to think. You know, you could just I go here, I do this job. You know, I put the tape on this box, and then I just put tape on boxes, and I'm not using my brain power to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe this is one thing, but if you're in a situation where you really don't like this job that you have, and um you know you're doing it so that you can support your artistic endeavors,
Mm.
I think this is a little backwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is, and because at the end of the day, I've been they still get your time and labor. Someone gets your time and labor, and it's
Yeah.
usually towards their dreams, you know, and
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying, and I think it's true. I think
Yeah.
there's most other businesses, not businesses, professions. This wouldn't be happening. You work
Mm,
hard, you study, you work hard, you get the reward, the
mhm,
financial reward.
mhm.
It's never guaranteed in the arts.
Yeah.
It's like you could work your entire life and never sell one work,
Right.
or never get a hit single, or
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
never guaranteed that your hard labor is going to produce, yeah, financial payment.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
sad truth. I don't know. It's flawed somehow.
It's well, personally, I think it's flawed in the sense of the way artists choose to present,
Hmm.
not present, to perceive what we do.
How the artists choose to perceive it, or
Yeah, they, because an artist, everyone else is thinking in terms of business, even if it's like I go to this job, I give them my labor, and I get my
yeah,
my
yeah.
$8 or whatever an hour. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is,
It,
if you're an artist and your primary concern is the finances, is being famous, is making lots of money, people won't take you quite so seriously. They'll think you're a sellout. They'll think your concerns are more to do with fiscal issues rather than creative integrity. So you'll lose your sort of creative kudos, not kudos. What's the word? Yeah, you've got to tread this. Somebody like Jeff Koons. I mean, he's famous as all hell,
Mhm.
but he often gets kind of pilloried for being so damn commercial.
But you know
Um,
who thinks this?
the
Only the
gatekeepers, no,
artists. The artists. No, not the gatekeepers. Only the
um,
other artists think this.
yeah, no, that's true too. Yep, you're right. Yeah,
This is
good
what I'm
point.
saying. Like we put ourselves in this whole situation
Hmm.
where we have to be the ones to suffer. We think it's so noble to, you know what I mean? I won't sell out. I won't, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I we do this to ourselves, because I was thinking about this. So much goes into like creating let's say I hire musicians to play, um to play on my song, right? And I take them to the studio. The studio gets paid, no question. The musicians
Hmm.
get paid, no question. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
The artists, the marketing department from the record label gets paid, no question. The person that does a remix of the song gets paid, no question. It's only the artist that's like, well, hopefully if it does well, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Something's going wrong here, isn't it? So,
yeah,
what's the
we're
solution? Do you think the solution is simply that we value more, we allow ourselves to value more the commercial side of things, or
I
we
think
just get
the
business savvy?
awareness. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely, because this is how everything works. Because even if you do a job outside of the arts or whatever, you can, if you want to, you can stay in the mailroom. The question is if you're happy, then there's no problem. If you're
Yeah, sure.
happy with everyone doing whatever they're doing, you don't get upset when you see them driving nice cars. You don't get upset when you see them eating expensive restaurants, or eating, period.
Just
You know what
kidding.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
If you don't have a problem with that, then you have no problems.
yeah,
You
yeah.
stay in the mail room. I like being in the mail room. I like walking around handing out the mail. I get joy from this. I get to observe from the outside and build my little relationships, and you know how we see this in the movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're okay with that, that's one thing or whatever. But if you don't take interest in the field that you're in, because
Mm.
the art, there is no separating art from business. If you're doing it, if you're thinking about money, just because you don't make a lot of money doesn't mean the business isn't still going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It does seem grossly unfair. It really does. Oh,
No, it's not unfair. This is my point. It's
it
not
is
unfair.
unfair. Well,
It's
it
not
is unfair.
unfair.
Okay, the cost of making your a piece of music, or the cost of me making some art, to add all of that up, I would be making something that's just unaffordable to most people. I mean, it's already unaffordable to most people when it comes to making artworks. But, you know, a song, for example, how do you put a value on these things? How can you ever be paid back enough? You know, and then you just get to the point where you're going, well, what is it worth anyway? Who puts a number on this stuff?
Okay.
It's all money. It's all it's kind of
No,
made up.
no, no, no. It's not. It's see. I don't know if money is the word. I would say value. I would say
Yeah.
the
Okay.
the value, not the. I would say that maybe I have to think about it a little bit. The only artists that I think really understand what it is graffiti artists,
Yeah. Go on.
because they just make art and that's it. There's no money in it really. There's not even a way unless you move into the galleries.
Yeah.
But if you know all of these guys that used to make these
Yep.
incredible pieces of art on trains or whatever, to know that it's in a week, if you're lucky, that's how long it's going to last. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So they maybe those guys are doing arts for art's sake, and the people that like make art and give it away or whatever, this is that's them. But the second when we talk about being artists and money is involved,
Hmm.
I think it becomes our responsibility to have some level of awareness towards this, like because once you enter into that system is happening whether you want it to or not.
Yep.
And this is why I think it should be taught in school. Like there's anytime you go to any other major that a study, any other yes major, yeah, like you have all these courses that you may not want to take, but they're like, excuse me,
The compulsory.
you have to take these courses if you want to graduate. So
You have to.
why not do this for artists? I mean, I think because yeah, I do think it's like I would say it's out of balance. I wouldn't say it's unfair because we are willing participants in it. Nobody's forcing us to spend money on materials and all. No one's forcing us to do this, you know? We might have feel the compulsion, but we're not really being forced. That compulsion is coming from within us. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And so in that sense, if you decide that you're gonna let everyone else make money off of you, or like pull value from what you create without you taking part in that, that's
That's on
that's you.
me.
That's on that's on you. You know what I mean? People are actively making a choice when they say,
Yep.
"Oh, I don't want to make it about money and all this stuff and everything." That's your choice.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so if even it would be one thing if you struggle through, you take your course, and in order to graduate you have to have some level of understanding of all the aspects of galleries and brokers and all of this stuff and auctions and all of this different kind of thing, so at least you can have an opportunity to find a way to make a living.
Yep.
I think this is how you should prepare an artist for life. I'm getting all hyped up.
Yep.
How relax.
So passionate.
Yeah, but you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's like, come on, like you put people spend 4 to 6, I don't know how long it comes to get a master's of fine arts or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come out, and then how do you pay for that? How do you pay back this?
Well, if you're in Berlin, it's free. But yes, most other places you pay for that degree.
You know what I'm
A lot of
saying?
money.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I think it is important that artists come out a little prepared for what's going to happen, because sometimes I can tell you like this: most of my best work happened when I was in my 20s.
Mm,
Everything that I know now didn't help me then, you know what I'm saying? Because I
mm,
didn't know it
mm,
then. But if I
no.
knew, there's plenty of deals I wouldn't have signed if I had a little bit of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Or
Mm,
like even with when you have the lawyer, you might even have a lawyer, but like you need to be able to speak a little bit of the lawyer's language so that you can say, hey, I don't want to do this, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
That's it.
All
I'm
right.
out of
Well,
control.
I'll have a think about that, and I'll make a list of things that I think I should tell my students about next time I'm doing that. But even so, I could tell them all the pitfalls that I know about, and at the end of the day, the advice would probably still be the same. It would be, don't give up your day job yet, because you're still not going to be guaranteed to make any money until
Mm,
you've done your time, until you've got a reputation, got a gallerist who's going to support you, or yeah, I don't know. It's a weird business. The art world. I think any
mm,
world is kind of weird
yeah,
and
yeah.
somehow incompatible with the actual process of making art. It's just
Mm-hmm,
they're just not great bedfellows.
mm-hmm. I mean, it just depends if you think of it as a profession.
Yeah, yeah.
If you think of it as a profession, then
You got to do this stuff. Yeah.
if you want to support yourself and sustain yourself as an artist, but I don't think it's yeah. I don't think we need to like relegate ourselves to this life of suffering and you know what I mean, just to be an artist. I think we have so many examples of people, like, yeah, there may be the artists that have gone so commercial,
Hmm.
but if your goal is to make a, I don't know what a how much someone can live on, but let's say $50,000 a year, you can live off $50,000 a year. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to find a way to make $50,000 from your art. You know, not to say you have to be like super millionaire, but if you want to be an artist, then you got to find a way to make it sustainable, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean the other issue with art is that it's in many regards it's seen as a luxury commodity, and it's anytime there's some kind of financial crisis or recession, it's the first thing that falls off people's shopping list.
Right.
Nobody's going to go out buying art if they can't pay their mortgage or if they
Mm-hmm.
can't feed their children.
Right.
So it's got that problem, that
Mm-hmm.
aspect as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then there's only a certain percentage of people, and it's usually people that are relatively wealthy, that can afford to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, even books these days, how many people can afford to spend $30 on a paperback?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Music, obviously that's a different story. It costs nothing. What do you get from Spotify every time one of
Mm-hmm.
your songs is played?
Mm-hmm.
Half a percentage of one. I don't know. What is it? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like it's infinitesimal. If that
It's
is that
so
how you say
tiny.
it?
It's
Infinitesimal.
such a joke.
Yeah.
And yet it's the very thing that people love the most. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
imagine a life. Imagine the world without music. Imagine the
Mm-hmm.
world without art, theater, dance, cinema.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We love it. Everyone loves
Yeah.
it, but nobody
Right.
really wants to pay for it.
Right.
So we've
Anymore.
got that. We've got that up against us as well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
There is
Yes.
this notion that it should be free in some respect,
Hmm.
especially music. People think it should be free.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is
That's not
the
on us.
dilemma.
I don't know what that's on, but that's not on us.
What do you mean?
Well, that
Because
notion.
listen, it is
It
on
is.
us. It is on us. Yeah, I'm wagging my finger right now. It is
Okay, I
on
can
us
see it.
because just
Pixelated, but I can
because
see it.
because just because someone doesn't want to pay for it doesn't mean that we have to give it away for free.
No, no, of course not. Sure.
They don't have to, you can find a way to set your own terms. Like there's people that set up their own websites and only sell their music on their own
Mm.
websites, or you know what I mean, or you can find other ways to like monetize what you're doing, you know what I'm saying. um 50 Cent talks about, I don't know if he was making music at all anymore, but he was saying after a certain point, he was just like, music was just to promote my other projects.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's up to you. This is what I mean. Like use some of this creativity to find ways to make something happen. I mean, otherwise we will allow Spotify or whatever to just keep holding the gate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So
So you use your creativity in your business, in the business side of things as well. Yeah.
yeah,
Good call.
yeah.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
this is what you see all the time. I mean, there's like a, what's this dude? There's like this guy, La Russell or whatever. He was like throwing uh like concerts in his backyard or whatever. Like and apparently he's like a millionaire now. I don't know that I don't know if his music is on Spotify or not or whatever, but clearly he has some sort of model
Mm-hmm.
to make something happen. Because right now, especially at a point, I don't know what differentiates one artist from another. Everything is so subjective. And so the
Do you mean?
competition, hmm?
No, go on. Sorry. The
I was
competition.
just saying, like, the competition is so high that you don't really have a choice. It's like if everybody can do it, then this is when the value goes down.
Yeah. And that's certainly happening, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
certainly is for artists. There's just billions of them. It used to be
Yeah.
a kind of very specialized field, but they're just, I think Instagram has, you know, made everyone start making art and tutorials online, and many people don't even worry about going to art school anymore. And maybe that's the same with music, with these programs that you can set up on your own computer.
Hmm.
But doesn't mean it's necessarily good. But that's
Hmm.
another story altogether. But some of it is.
Yeah.
Some of it could be.
Yes. And yeah, that's what I mean. Is it's like it becomes subjective, because then what is good? You know what I'm saying? What is,
Yeah.
who determines what's good? You know?
Well, that's another conversation, I think, for another time, because
Right on. Right on.
yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
and it's definitely open to questioning.
You know.
And I don't
You
think
know.
it's a simple answer either.
Yeah. So anyway, well, you let me know what you come up with. You let me know what you come up with. All I can
Yeah, you
do.
it's wag the finger. Yeah, I think I think you made some good points there. I don't know if I'll change my ways anytime soon, but I think it is a valid point. Um, but there'd be a bit of psychological reshuffling for me to
Mhm.
do in order to become a smart businesswoman.
Mhm.
I might have left it too late, I think, at this point. Don't know. We'll see. But I
You
remember
never
last
know.
time I was in Berlin, I was making these little things out of recycled, garbage, effectively, little sculptures, basically. And I would put them in little interesting places in buildings, a place where there was a brick missing, or I'd find these little niches to put them in, and I would leave them there. And
Mm-hmm.
I did not put my name on them. I just made these things and I gave them to the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I love doing that. That was just one of the most fun, private little projects I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Anonymous, free, with none of this business thinking in my mind whatsoever. It was just
Mm-hmm.
playful, and I loved it. So I don't know what to make of that. Maybe I should just give all my work away.
It's
And then,
another way to alleviate yourself of of this,
yeah.
kind of this stress that comes along with it. I I I had another friend who was a painter or whatever, and she was the whole process of trying to get a show organized, or exhibition organized in a different country. And I think it ended up like costing her a whole bunch of money. And I think this was the end of her painting. Like this was like this was kind of the first step towards the end of her
Mm,
enjoying. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause she ended up getting like cheated out of a, oh, we need
mm,
this special guy to make frames for the paintings, and once they get here, and you know what I mean?
mm.
So um, it's, I don't know. I don't really have an answer other than what
Yeah.
I,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
back in the good old days, in the Medici family in
Mm-hmm.
Florence, they were patrons. They
Mm-hmm.
would get an artist and they would pay them to make
Mm-hmm.
art,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it worked back then. But
Mm-hmm.
those sort of patrons don't seem to exist in this day and age, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be good, though. God, that would be good.
Yeah.
Putting it out there.
Well,
Any
well,
patrons?
it's still happening, right? People have patrons.
There must be a few kicking around, but yeah, I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. You let me know what you come up with.
All right, I will.
All right.
This is not an interview. There is no format. This is simply a conversation about life.